I'd like to call the meeting to order. Good evening. Welcome to your city council meeting in the beautiful council chambers of the beautiful city of Laguna Niguel. And the city council is looking pretty good too. So I want to welcome you. Today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2015 at 7 p.m. Regular meetings are held on the first and third Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. in the council chambers at City Hall. City Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Minigar,
Present.
Councilmember Susowitz,
Here.
Councilmember Genoway,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies,
Here.
and Mayor McCloskey.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Thank you. At this, I'd like to ask Ali Nami from Baha'i Community Faith to come forward, give us our invocation.
Good evening. This is a prayer for America. I'm from the Baha'i community of Laguna Niguel. It's a pleasure to be here. O thou kind Lord, this gathering is turning to Thee. These hearts are radiant with Thy love. These minds and spirits are exhilarated by the message of Thy glad tidings. O God, let this American democracy become glorious in spiritual degrees, even as it has aspired to material degrees, and render this just government victorious. Confirm this revered nation to upraise the standard of the oneness of humanity, to promulgate the most great peace, to become thereby most glorious and praiseworthy among all the nations of the world. O God, this American nation is worthy of Thy favors and is deserving of Thy mercy. Make it precious and near to Thee through Thy bounty and bestowal. Abdul Baha.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We now have Boy Scout Troop 872 come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. Boy Scout Troop 872 Color Guard, please advance. Please place your hand over your heart. Those in uniform, please salute. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Audience, you may be seated. Color Guard, retreat.
Wait, just hold it, we're coming down. It is our custom, after the colors are presented, we like to ask each one of these gentlemen who they are and where they come from and where they go to school. Well, just where you go to school. We know where you're coming from. So please pass the mic down.
My name's Nick, and I go to St. Anne's.
My name is Ryan. I go to St. Anne's.
My name's Jacob, and I go to St. Anne's.
My name is Adam, and I go to St. Anne's.
My name is Thomas, and I go to St. Anne's.
My name is Brian, and I go to Don Montevilla.
My name is Stevie, and I go to St. Anne's.
My name's Troy, and I go to St. Anne's.
My name is Stephen. I go to Niguel Hills Middle School.
What's your school?
I've already graduated. My name is Tim Winningham. I'm the committee chair for Troop 872.
Very good. Well, we're so proud of our young men in this community, and we know what really gets them going are their parents. And I know there's a bunch of parents out here, and we applaud you. And now it's photo time, so hold on. Why don't you get in there so you can... Okay. You know, the problem with these cameras is they don't flash and don't click. Okay, you can retire the colors. I think we have a presentation here. Let me just get my agenda. OC Human Relations Board Annual Update. We have that on our agenda. I guess we can go back up. Go up for now.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members, Mr. Rod Foster, Chief Matthew Barr, and community members. I am here tonight to report on some of the work of our nonprofit organization, Orange County Human Relations, in Laguna Niguel over the last year and present you with copies of our annual report. We believe that all people have a right to live free from discrimination and violence, so we provide programs to create safe, respectful communities. This year, as our community became more diverse and our world a little bit smaller, we saw an increase in profane, abusive, and hate speech during some city council meetings, making your job more difficult protecting free speech rights while maintaining civility. OC Human Relations partners with cities to manage challenging issues with meaningful participation of all residents in the decision-making process, maintaining civility and healing as a community in the wake of difficult conflicts. Many of our programs are county-wide, but we would like to share with you the following data about some of our additional services exclusively for Laguna Niguel. We mediated 51 cases as well as 6 family mediations in the community or courts where one of the parties was a resident of Laguna Niguel. In collaboration with the Laguna Niguel Police on hate crimes and individuals of community groups on hate incidents that are not crimes, we documented 1 hate crime and 1 hate incident, and we facilitated 2 police community reconciliation cases in Laguna Niguel for the year of 2013. We sought to build a sense of community with Laguna Niguel residents and staff through hate crime victim support. In conclusion, over the past 22 years, OC Human Relations has partnered with cities such as Laguna Niguel to proactively build understanding and positive relations among diverse residents, to overcome the divisiveness that erodes our sense of community, and sustain the infrastructure to assist in crisis situations when they occur. Just as important as any infrastructure, such as storm drains, curbs, and gutters, are to the protection of our Laguna Niguel residents, it is the human relations infrastructure of effective intergroup relations programs, trained professional staff, and positive relationships with diverse elements of our communities that can be called on at Orange County Human Relations. If the mayor would come forward, we would like to make a presentation at this time. We would like to honor the wonderful city of Laguna Niguel for your support of good human relations in 2013 and 14 with this certificate of recognition. Recognizes the city of Laguna Niguel for its outstanding commitment to fostering mutual understanding among residents and eliminating prejudice, intolerance, and discrimination in order to make Orange County a better place for all people to live, work, and do business. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. We're honored with this. And, we know that you're doing great work, and we hope you continue and keep up the good fight. Thank you. Next, it's going to be my honor to make a proclamation honoring the Elks and their Elks National Youth Week, May 1st to May 7th, 2015. And I'll read the proclamation. Whereas the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks has designated the first week in May 2015 as Youth Week to honor America's junior citizens for their accomplishments and to give fitting recognition of their services to the community, state, and nation. And whereas Mission Viejo Saddleback Valley Elks Lodge number 2444 will sponsor an observance during the week in tribute to the junior citizens of this community. And whereas our youth need the guidance, inspiration, and encouragement which we can give them to help develop qualities of character essential for future leadership. And whereas to achieve this worthy objective, we would demonstrate our partnership with youth, our understanding of their hopes and aspirations, and sincere willingness to help prepare them in every way for the responsibilities and opportunities of citizenship. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Jerry McCloskey, on behalf of the Laguna Niguel City Council, do hereby declare the first week in May 2015 as Youth Week in the city of Laguna Niguel, and urge all citizens and groups to participate wholeheartedly in its observance. Thank you. And this will be presented to the Elks Club. It's a great organization. They do a lot for our police and fire. They honor our police and fire fighters, and so I'm very happy to do this. So we'll pass that on to the city clerk and get it on to the Elks. Okay, next up is we're going to be looking at the sponsorship of the Destination Imagination teams from Moulton Elementary School and Niguel Hills Middle School. Can you come forward, please?
Hello, our team is DI Ops. We competed in Destination Imagination's Challenge B called Making Waves at the middle level. We got first place at the California State competition. We now get to compete at the Global Finals in Knoxville, Tennessee. The cost to attend Globals is over $1,000 per team member.
For our challenge, we had to create a sound machine that could create at least 2 different sounds using 2 different methods. We also had to show cymatics for each sound. Cymatics is the study of visible sound.
For our sound machine, we created our own tone generator.
We can make many sounds in many different ways. Tonight, we will show you how our bodies will complete an electric circuit to make sound. Here is a scene from our skit where we are space explorers about to start our ship.
Now for the final surge.
Captain, it's working! We hope that you enjoyed our demonstration. Destination Imagination is an incredible program that taught us to be creative and think on our feet. But most importantly, it taught us to be a team. Thank you, City Council, for your time. We hope that you will be able to help us go to globals.
Thank you. That was a shocking demonstration.
As you know, we have very smart and creative students in Laguna Niguel. Some of us are involved in Destination Imagination. We are Moulton Elementary's 4th grade team, the Brainbusters. DI is the world's leading nonprofit organization that is dedicated to 3 lifelong values: creativity, teamwork, and problem solving.
Destination Imagination promotes critical thinking and creative problem solving by presenting teams with open-ended challenges in technology, science, fine arts, performance arts, engineering, and service learning.
We competed against the best teams from all over California at the state championships, and we won first place. We get to continue on to compete against nearly 100 other teams from 48 states and 15 different countries at the DI Global Finals in Tennessee. Global Finals is considered the greatest celebration of creativity in the world.
This year, we did the fine art challenge called Fairy Tales. This challenge required us to create an original story in a fairy tale format where a character must overcome a phobia.
We made a story about a bed that had the fear of people having nightmares if they slept on it, and a little girl who desperately needed to take a nap on it. With the help of a magic blanket, the bed allowed the girl to sleep, and she went into a wonderful dream in Candyland, where she learned the truth behind the bed's phobia. We had to create several art pieces that served as functional and expressive art, and a technical illusion to make the impossible seem possible.
Our illusion is a candy cane straw that the girl in the gingerbread cyclops used to drink up all the molasses swamp from the Candyland molasses swamp and free the stuck girl from the sticky goo. The technical methods we used are structural and mechanical engineering and physics to rig material to a fishing line and hook to pull the material up into the candy tube. Thank you, City Council, for your time. We hope that we can count on your support to help us get to globals.
Hello, City Council members. I'm Nolan Murphy, here with Reagan Gary, Izzy Larkin, Jacob Hare, and Zach Harrison. We are the 7th grade Destination Imagination team, the California Crushers, from Aliso Viejo Middle School, Don Juan Middle School, and Miguel Hills Middle School.
Each year, our team competes in the Project Outreach Challenge at the DI tournament. This year, we were honored to earn second place in the state of California. That earned us the honor of competing at the Global Finals in Tennessee.
This year, our challenge was called Brand Aid. On this project, we identified, designed, and carried out a project that addresses a community need while creating a project brand.
Our community need was to provide an amazing Christmas to 2 children and their families battling cancer at Children's Hospital Los Angeles. We fundraised, shopped, wrapped, and delivered over $1,500 in wish list items to 7 children this year. We were inspired to help children with cancer because of our classmate and my best friend, Abella Weiss, who lost her battle to cancer last year.
Also, as part of our project, we had to create an effective brand using graphic arts and sound, creating a logo and a jingle. Our brand is the CCCIA, which stands for the California Crushers Community Influence Association. Here's the logo I created for our brand. We also created a 6-foot-high project puzzle of the Golden Children Cancer Awareness Ribbon to be put together during our presentation at the tournament.
At the tournament, we designed an 8-minute live presentation that highlighted the brand and our project. This year, our presentation was designed after a parody of the 90s sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Here's the opening rap to our presentation.
Born and raised on the beaches where we were soaking up rays, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, kicking some goals outside of the school.
I was looking for staring much presents to bring Christmas cheer.
Pulled up to the hospital a little bit late and yelled to the nurses, "Yo, ladies, presents away." We looked at our piles and knew just then the kids of OC had done it again.
We hope you enjoyed learning about the CCCIA. Thank you for your time, and we hope we can count on your support to help us represent the great city of Laguna Niguel at Global Finals.
Thank you very much. We're very proud of you. Ms. Wallen, Patty? Do you have any comments you would like to make? You're the I understand you're the coordinator for Destination Imagination.
Well, we've been doing Destination Imagination with several teams for, let's see, myself, 7 years now. And I think it's one of the most valuable things my kids and these kids have ever done. They start with this huge challenge that they offer the same challenge for elementary all the way to university level. And there's all these parts they have to address, and they come up with it all on their own and all their ideas. All the team managers do is give them a place to do it and try to keep them focused and on track. And these kids have just done a wonderful, wonderful job. And they really have worked hard to go to Global Finals.
Thank you very much. I'd like to ask for any council comments, and then possibly we can have a motion at the end of the comments. Anybody want to speak to the item?
Okay, well, I think it's fantastic that we are able to support our students in such a way. These students bring pride to our city, but more important than that is the learning that's taking place, and they're having fun doing it. So thank you for leading the students in this.
Okay. Do I hear a motion? We have there's a motion for providing a sponsorship.
Yes, I move that we provide a total of $3,000 to the Destination Imagination team. That is $1,000 for 3 schools.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been made and seconded that we provide sponsorship funds in the amount of $1,000 to each team for a total of $3,000. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you very much. Very inspiring. Okay, we're going to go on to public communications. These are communications that are not directed specifically to any item on the agenda tonight. Any person wishing to address the City Council on any matter, whether or not it appears on this agenda, is required to submit complete gold-colored request to speak form to the city clerk prior to being heard by the city council. Each person will be given 3 minutes to speak, and I do have a request to speak, and I'll just call your name, and please come up to the podium, and please identify yourself again to the clerk. I'm having a little trouble on this one. This is Larry Kamashira. I'm not sure I got that right. Please come forward, sir. And just identify yourself to the clerk.
My name is Larry Kamashir, and I'm a resident of Laguna Niguel. And my concern is not so much the project that you're building at Agora, but basically what else is in the complex itself. It's fine to have a cultural center. I think most people agree that that would be very enthusiastic within the community. My thought of having a hotel or possibly apartments in the area that doesn't belong in this area is a bedroom community. If you choose to build that type of a complex, it should be built in an area where you built those 2 rather large apartments that nobody ever cares for by the 5. So your concern, you mentioned the fact in your letter here that basically that you are working with the residents of Laguna Niguel. Well, quite frankly, I'm a resident and I didn't get a chance to vote on it, and I don't know if anybody else did, but I didn't. And if you're going to build something like this, I think it behooves the city council to get the citizens involved, whether or not they want something in this geographical area, which is truly a bedroom community. I think it's going to create traffic congestion. I think it's going to create more housing, which we don't need in the area. And I think it's something that we should take a big concern about as far as what's going into that area. And that's my concern.
Thank you, sir. Sure, go ahead.
Excuse me. I want to thank you for coming, and first of all, nothing has been voted on, and we know that this is important because this is your city. So we've already had, I don't know if you're able to go to the government affairs, Gord did a presentation, but we wanted to make sure that more people had an opportunity. So we have another presentation coming up on May 4th, and it'll be in the community room at 7 o'clock. We're also advertising that because we do understand this is your community. We want your feedback. This is something that's important to us. So nothing has been decided at this point. Thank you, and I hope to see you there. Thank you.
Next speaker, Martha McNicholas.
Good evening, council members. Martha McNicholas. I'm here representing Relay for Life, and the rest of my committee's here. Will you guys want to stand up so we know who you are? Okay, that's the organizing committee for Relay for Life of Laguna Niguel. It's starting on relay season now. And I wanted to just let you know, you each got your individual invitations to Relay for Life, which is on August 22nd. It's out a little bit farther. Usually we're the 1st of June, but we didn't want to conflict with any special city events. So we're doing August 22nd, but we are having our special kickoff party on June 2nd. Right here in the community room just before your council meeting on June 2nd. So you each got your individual invitations there. This is...
My name is Megan Pierce. I am the community manager with American Cancer Society, and I want to thank you for your ongoing support of Relay for Life.
Thank you for the grant you gave us to get our event off the ground. Also, I wanted to let you know that Pam Lawrence is signing up a city team. Even though she's not a city employee any longer, she is your team captain, so make sure you go sign up on the website. There's no charge, there's no registration fee this year, so it shouldn't prohibit anybody from signing up to be on the City Fights Back team, although we love your donations, and that's how we raise money to fight cancer. So just wanted to give you a heads up, and you'll hear from us again probably next month. So thank you.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you.
I have a request from Dr. and Mrs. Bull from Kite Hill.
Well, my name is Dr. Bull, and this is my wife Bridget here.
We've been residents of Laguna Niguel for nearly 30 years. That's before it was incorporated. Anyhow, we're here now to raise a subject regarding an application to install a cell tower on our common properties at Kite Hill. Now, we wish the council to be aware that very few homeowners at Kite Hill had any information on this. We were not aware of the application, and I think we should have been. It didn't come to light until we went down to the planning department and was very ably and professionally informed of the details of this. Otherwise, and they put us in, brought light onto the subject. Otherwise, we'd have been in the dark. But due to their help, we became acquainted with the subject, and we want to go on to say that the homeowners were not informed, and it is an important matter. The Kite Hill Homeowners Association Board did mention it a few times at their board meetings, but nobody goes to the board meetings. Not their fault, but very few people do. And I understand they did put it in the Kite Hill flyer, but again, nobody looks at it. So, and they know that. So there was very little dissemination of this important information. I'd like to contrast this, the board actions by another event. We ourselves put in an application for some trees on our common property, very similar. And the board, they sent
Oops.
make a point.
You have 30 seconds.
640 letters went out to tell homeowners about that. So we wish the council to perhaps contact the planning department and advise that some kind of communication should be similarly sent out and full disclosure of the application so we can know what it is. Now, one last point, if I can say this, it came to our notice that the applicant for the cell tower had already paid $3,000 in advance for rent for something that had not been approved. It had not been through the planning department, it had not been before the commissioners, and it had not been before your good selves. How can that happen?
That's your time.
Okay, just request to contact the planning department and see if they can disseminate more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a quick comment, Doctor, is I think the requirements of the city is it 500 feet within the project? Assistant City Manager Fox, you know that?
It'd typically be 300 feet from the property.
100 feet, and then the homeowners association is notified, correct?
Yeah, and in this case, it's my understanding the homeowner association is the actual property owner and applicant, along with the wireless carrier that's proposing the facility. Is my understanding, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, nothing has been noticed at the Planning Commission and no hearing date has been set. It's something that will need to go to the Planning Commission. So that has not been set for a hearing yet. So they're still at the early design stages.
Thank you, Assistant City Manager Fox. So, sir, the point is that your homeowners association is intimately involved. Your first line of defense, the first line of defense would be the Kite Hill Homeowners Association, and then you could go to the planning department, find out the date that it's going to be. There will be an open hearing. I would suggest you show up to that open hearing and then make your presentation to them. If they vote to approve it, then the process would be to appeal it back to us, but not until. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ronald Howard.
council members. I'm also speaking very quickly on the Verizon Wireless. As Dr. Bowl said, I didn't find out about it till the March board meeting. One of the homeowners brought it up to my attention, and I just wanted to say a couple quick things. I'm against the application of Verizon Wireless to install a cell tower in the Kite Hill Recreation Area. Granting an exception to the current zoning to allow a commercial business to come into this area would open the door to other commercial businesses by setting this precedent. Health issue. It has not been proven that long-term close proximity exposure to a cell tower does not have lasting detrimental health issues. We would be within 25 to 50 yards of that tower where I live in Kite Hill. If the city were to grant this exception to Verizon, would the city be willing to stand behind this decision by granting members of my family a paid by the city insurance policy that any health problems were deemed caused by said cell tower to cover all related medical costs? And that's all I had to ask.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It's my understanding is this has to go through the permitting process. Is that correct? Everyone will have an opportunity to speak on the issue in the future. Ray Damiano. Ray Damiano.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ray Damiano. Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words. First of all, I would just like to compliment Destination Imagination. I think it's just wonderful. It's great to see the youth of our city and the wonderful things that they're doing. So thank you to all those involved in that. I, too, have lived in Kite Hill for about 25 years. And I, too, was also not made aware that there was a contract being signed with Verizon for a cell tower in our community. I bought my home, and I've lived there for 25 years, and I really cherish the green space that exists there. And I'm not in favor of having a cell tower in Kite Hill. That is our home, that is our property. It's not a commercial area. In addition to that, I have very strong feelings on the fact that I was never made aware that this was going on. I attended a meeting, and our board basically acted as though it was a fait accompli, which I guess I'm hearing tonight that it is not. And that's the reason that I'm here tonight. So I'm happy to hear that it is not, that there will be more hearings. However, I do feel that everyone that lives in the community should have the opportunity to decide if they want or do not wish to have a cell tower, a commercial cell tower, in our recreation area, where our kids are swimming, playing tennis, and enjoying themselves. So thank you very much. I vehemently am against this action within our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other general comments? Okay, that's going to close the public communications. We're going to go on to the consent calendar, and if anybody, any of the council members has any comments, at this time we'll have to pull the item. Otherwise, you can make your comments during your regular council reports. Does anybody want to pull anything?
Mayor, I'd like to pull 1 and 11, please.
1, okay. And 11?
Yes, please.
Any other?
Item 1.
Item 1 again? Okay. I hear a motion to accept the
Well,
balance?
I'll comment on 11 as well then.
Okay,
Thanks,
11,
sir.
okay.
Yes, and I'd like to speak to 11 also.
Number 1 is, that was Elaine? Yeah. 11 or 1? 11. Okay, may I hear a motion to accept the balance?
So moved.
Okay. On to item 1.
We got a second and vote, though.
I'll second it.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, item 1. Let's see, Lori?
Great. I just want to direct this to Assistant City Manager Fox in regards to the warrant register. It's the San Diego Gas and Electricity charge on traffic signals and some of the street lights. And we had mentioned this, but I just wanted to bring up the point. What I'd like to do is see if we can get all of these lights changed over to LED. I know we do have some, but I'd like to see if we can have those, changed over, and if we could look into putting this item into the workshop budget coming up. That would be great.
Be happy to look into that.
Thank you.
Fred?
I just have a question from the Director of Finance. I see a charge of $40,000 for sign excellence, and it says progress payment for gateway specific plan improvements. Progress payment, how much is the total that this happens to be a progress payment?
Councilmember Minigar, I'd be happy to answer that. I believe it was about $100,000. This was for the first phase of the Gateway sign program. What's under construction right now, that progress payment is for fabrication of 2 monument signs that are going to be located on Camino Capistrano at Avery and at Paseo Cleanest Loop. That will be a business directory sign, as well as about 17 or 18 wayfinding directional signs that will be located throughout the Crown Valley, Cabot, Forbes, and Paseo Cleanest area that will direct vehicle traffic through and around the area. It's part of the overall master plan improvements, and this is kind of the first phase. Footings are being installed right now for some of those new installations. Most of the wayfinding signs will be attached to existing streetlights, and like I said, we have 2 monument signs that have been fabricated, and they're working on the footings as we speak. So hopefully those should be showing up in the field here real quickly.
And it doesn't include any of the banners?
It does not include any of the banners yet.
Okay, thank you.
Lloyd? You got a comment on 11? Yeah, we just finished. Oh, you want, well, okay, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to move 1.
And I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're on 11. Elaine?
Okay, item number 11 is regarding the Special Olympics for the Bocce Club, and this is something that has been on our agenda before. Now it's brought back to us because we've asked for some more details. I think it's great that we're having the Special Olympics here in Laguna Niguel. Keep in mind, this is for the training. It is not the actual Special Olympics. It's the training, and it's also the same day that the Bocce Club is having their end-of-season festivities. So when I look at the amounts that are being requested, I have concern about some of the items that we're being asked to fund, because we have about 11 other sports organizations in our city, predominantly youth organizations. So I'm concerned about paying for such items as lunches and water and ice. And then also, my understanding is then when an organization is having an event that requires police services, that they pay for the police services. And I'm wondering if that would set a precedent with all of our other groups that we have. So we've already waived, about $550 in fees and staff time for that. So I am looking at maybe removing some of these items from the request, and I'd like to hear comments from my colleagues.
Okay. Well, I had Fred wanted to speak on this item.
Councilwoman Genoway, I'm looking at those items like water, ice for athletes, $150 or so. If we wanted to shave it, which areas should we trim in, you know, the requested budget, which the total happens to be $5,000? It's minor, some of those items are minor.
Water and ice, we have lunches, 640. We have police services, 1,500. So that comes to about 2,810. Or excuse me, 2,290. So the balance of the funding request, if we remove those, would be 2,810.
But the request is for $5,000.
Correct.
Okay, Lori.
I agree with Elaine. I think this is a great opportunity for this event. Keep in mind that this is going to the budget that we have right now. This isn't for next year. And I think it's great that we can help out, but I don't want to see us, I really think with the city, if we're going to put money out there, it should be regarding safety. And so I'm good with going ahead and paying for the police services for $1,500, the security guard for $160, and even the shuttle, because we want to make sure that people aren't parking across the street so that it's safe for everyone to attend. And if you kind of even that out, it would be about $3,000. So I would recommend that the city covers all the safety issues, but when it comes to lunches and water, I mean, especially lunches, there's a lot of restaurants out there. I do a lot of fundraisers, and a lot of them will go ahead and donate the food, especially to get you out there as a sponsor. So I think as a city, safety is our priority, and I'd like to put out $3,000 to cover the safety items.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Mayor. My comments are very similar to Mayor Pro Tem Davies, although I think my math might be a little different. I think the city, and Councilmember Genoway's comments are very well taken. This is not the Special Olympics, but it is a venue prior to the Special Olympics, which will be held, I believe, in August in Los Angeles. And so they're doing a demonstration down here with Special Olympians. The city should be honored. I do think that we need to have coverage. It's very, very important that this demonstrates the city's partnership with the Special Olympics, even if it's a preview for it. So I do think it's a big deal for the city. I do think in areas of safety, we need to cover that. That's police services. The number one hearing from the chief in one of the presentations before of the concerns is that people park on the opposite side of Marina Hills Park, which is the venue, and those cars, I don't know the limit, 45, but they probably drive 50 miles an hour plus down that street. We don't want anyone parking on the other side of the street and getting hurt coming to our city. So I think we need police services. I think that we need shuttles. I think we need restrooms. We need tables and chairs and a stage for the awards to make a big deal about the whole deal, and a security guard to protect our materials overnight, because we're going to set up the night before to not disenfranchise the neighborhood. So my math says no water, ice for athletes or officials, no lunch for athletes or officials, and no unexpected logistic costs. It's their event. They should be able to figure that out. We waive all the fees, but I come up with a number of $3,840 to cover everything else other than the water, ice, box lunch, and unexpected logistical costs. So that's the number I'd like to see passed. It's a little bit more than Mayor Pro Tem Davies mentioned, but I do think we need to include the police services. I think that's critical.
My analysis is I'm pretty much in accord with Councilmember Susowitz. 3,000. What was it? 840.
That's my math.
Yeah. Well, I'm old school. I would round it to $4,000, but
Okay.
you know, whatever. I appreciate your comments, and I agree that some of these things are a little speculative, but I would entertain a motion on this. See if we can come to a consensus.
Okay, well, I'll make the motion to, I'll follow the mayor's lead that we do $4,000 towards the Bocce Club's event Facilities permit fees get waived, staff fees for Special Olympics bocce tournament training, and approve this funding request, but keep the number at $4,000 and waive those fees.
I'll second it. Okay, then, discussion?
None.
Quick note, on that, I know Allison, we had discussed in regards to making sure that people aren't parked on the north side of the street and then crossing over, and when you've got traffic moving pretty fast. We would have to take a little bit of time and maybe some costs in there, so I'd like to make sure that we actually block that side off, that $4,000, if we approve that, that goes towards that cost.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yes, I concur that we need to keep everybody safe and that we do need police services there. My only question to the council was, are we going to be setting a precedent for other events?
Can I respond? Okay. Councilwoman Genoway, I'm sure there's a number of events that the city covers police services. This isn't the only one. They're city-sponsored events, and in this case, I'm looking at this as the city stepping up to sponsor a Special Olympic event. There's different things where there are private fundraisers versus city-sponsored events, and this, for a preview or a setup for Special Olympics, that's what I'm looking at. It's a city, and so we're not setting any precedent for a city-sponsored event or co-sponsoring with the Bocce Club.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve $4,000. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, that gets us on to community development, amendment to the local park code and park in lieu fee, and I do have some requests to speak on that item, but I think first we need to introduce it. Jeff, you want to tee it up?
Good evening, Mayor McCloskey.
Is your microphone on?
Good evening, Mayor McCloskey, council members. The proposed amendment to the local park code would change the procedure for determining the fair market value of residential land by requiring that an appraisal be completed by a certified general real estate appraiser who is also designated as a member of the Appraisal Institute, which is MAI. The appraised land values for the park and lieu fee would be established by adoption of a resolution of the City Council, and the representative land value would be established for the various residential density classifications that are identified in the existing local park code. In addition, the land values for the park and lieu fee would be adjusted annually with the change in the consumer price index, and the appraisal would be updated at least every 5 years. Draft resolution to increase the park and lieu fee for City Council discussion is included in Attachment B of the staff report. The resolution would be placed on the agenda for a future council meeting a minimum of 30 days after the second reading of the ordinance to amend the local park code. The earliest this resolution could be considered by the council would be the June 16th meeting. Draft resolution includes a provision to have it supersede a previous resolution of the City Council concerning the applicability of future development impact fees for the Gateway specific plan area, and these were related to approved and pending projects. The development impact fee program for the Gateway area is no longer under consideration by the City Council. Based on direction from the Council at the March 3rd meeting, the draft resolution has a provision that projects that have received all discretionary entitlement approvals from the Planning Commission or City Council before the effective date of this resolution would be exempt from any increase in the park and lieu fee. Project entitlement approvals include tentative maps, site development permits, use permits, and other similar approvals. Since the March 3rd meeting, we have received correspondence from interested parties requesting that projects currently in the planning process also be exempted from the fee, and that due to the large increase in the fee, that it be phased in over several years to reduce the impact. At this point in time, staff is recommending that the council direct that the ordinance amending the local park code be placed on the agenda for the May 5th meeting for adoption, and then provide direction to staff regarding the draft resolution to increase the land values associated with the calculation of the park and lieu fee. And with that, that concludes my staff presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. I do have some public comments, some requests to speak on this particular item. Steve Lamott.
Good evening, Mayor McCloskey and council members. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for allowing me to speak here tonight. My name is Steve Lamott. I am the Director of Government Affairs for the Building Industry Association of Orange County. I am here today to discuss the proposed increase to park in lieu fees. I would also like to thank the City Council as well as staff for communicating with the BIA over the last month. Your willingness to listen truly makes for effective government. By way of background, the BIA is a nonprofit trade association of over 1,000 companies employing over 100,000 people affiliated with the home building industry here in Orange County. Our members have played a significant role in developing the wonderful community of Laguna Niguel over the years. We at the BIA understand the value of a strong park system and what it provides to a municipality as well as a community. However, as detailed in the staff report, projects that are currently in the application process can see an increase of over $1 million due to this proposed increase. While an update is appropriate, an increase of this magnitude is simply too large to implement at one time. On behalf of our members, we respectfully request that you exempt projects currently in the application process from the fee increase. Additionally, due to the extraordinary magnitude of this increase, we request that the increase be phased in over a 2-year period. Lastly, we respectfully ask you consider exempting 3 Forbes LLC project from the proposed increase. 3 Forbes acquired this development site under the current fee, and this increase could jeopardize the opportunity to provide housing to the undersupplied South OC region. Lastly, I would also like to submit for into the public record a letter from OCBC as well with very similar stance on these comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. David Simpson.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is David Simpson. I am the chairman-elect of the Laguna Niguel Chamber of Commerce, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce this evening in regards to this amendment. The board met over this issue, and after much discussion, we have come to the conclusion, and we ask that you consider the request to exempt or phase in the fee for one of our members, Blackwood, because they had already been in application, and it does affect their decisions that they had made prior. We do agree that the fees need to be increased. However, I think consideration for a phase-in for this particular member is appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you. Wayne Brown.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Wayne Brown, and I am Government Relations Manager for the South Orange County Economic Coalition. SOSEC knows the importance that a dynamic and healthy park and recreation component is to all communities of South Orange County. Laguna Niguel has an outstanding public park system. SOSEC understands that it requires the building industry to pay their fair share of in lieu park fees when facilities are not provided by the developer. With this said, SOSEC agrees with our partner, the Building Industry Association of Southern California, Orange County Chapter, that the proposed update of park fees should be implemented over a reasonable amount of time, and we respectfully request that the projects with applicants in the review would be exempt from the proposed fee increase. We also agree with the BIAOC that the increase be phased in over 24 months in 3 equal segments to be implemented starting in the city's 2015 fiscal year. This additional time provides future development projects time to prepare and plan for the impact of these fees. which will ultimately be passed on to both future homeowners and renters. The coalition would suggest that this issue be given additional time for all parties to study and evaluate available options, and therefore ask for a continuance of the issue until the council meeting of May 5th, 2015. SOSAC has been a vital and active organization committed to helping businesses and communities grow and prosper for more than 45 years. As a leading business association, the Economic Coalition remains dedicated to the initiatives, programs, and advocacy efforts that promote a sound economy and increased quality of life for all those who live and work and play within the region of South Orange County. We are determined to advance the broad interests of the business community in South Orange County region through advocacy, education, representation, and progress. That being said, and from an economic standpoint, any process or policy that has the effect of hindering the economic vitality of any of our regional businesses will be challenged and questioned to its fairness and validity. We thank you for the time and your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Gilad Ganesh.
Hi, my name is Gilad with 3 Forbes LLC. We're the applicant, the only project that's in application right now that would be affected by this. I just wanted to give first of all, thank you for the time and give you a quick overview of where we're at. In terms of our project, we've submitted every item requested by staff. That's all the technical studies, all the water quality, civil plans, everything. We've submitted all of that. We've gone through several rounds of design review with the city and have revised our plans several times based on staff direction. Right now, staff is currently in the process of conducting the mitigation studies that are required by the gateway-specific plan. And my understanding is that these studies are the final step before we can set a hearing date for our project. And lastly, our project is completely consistent with the gateway-specific plan, and it's consistent with the zoning code. But we're not really here to discuss the details of our project. We're not even really here to discuss the amount of park being proposed or the amount of park that the city is asking for. And lastly, we're here to say that we do not oppose the ordinance that's being put in front of you tonight. We're just here to address the proposed draft of the resolution which was shared with us last week. The issue itself is being framed as a park issue rather than a business or policy issue, when in our minds the issue itself is a very narrow issue. We're just simply asking that new fees apply to new projects. The good news is that we already have a recent precedent for this issue. Our situation is not new and our situation is not different. In November 2013, the city was faced with the notion of other increased fees, which was mentioned in the staff report. The city council at the time adopted a resolution that protected both approved and pending projects. At the time, the pending project was Pisern. So we don't need to introduce a new process. We already have a process that was introduced in 2013. It specified that any approved or pending projects would not be subject to contemplated fee changes. We're asking that you simply follow that precedent and nothing more. We're not trying to circumvent any fees. And furthermore, we had followed up diligently on a regular basis with staff, querying about the proposed and any fees that would be coming up down the line, and nothing was shared with us.
You have 20 seconds.
Okay, I'll speed up, sorry. Of course, you as a city council have the right to adopt new rules moving forward, but thankfully we have some rules here that these are the rules that we bargained for when we made our financial commitments to the project, which have been large. To subject us to a different second set of economics is changing the game and is really inconsistent with the past decision of the city council. We're here to request the same treatment that was provided to Pisern when it was a pending project. We're not asking for anything more than that. We as applicants have put a lot of time and money and effort in this project. We've demonstrated that commitment to the city and would like to be treated fairly in return, and I'm here if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll now ask for council comments. Mayor Pro Tem.
As you had mentioned, this really is two different issues. We have the local park code ordinance, as well as we have the park in lieu fee phase-in option. And I'd like to make a motion to move the staff recommendation regarding the local park code ordinance. And then I would like to also propose a park in lieu fee phase-in option to the council and the staff. Now I can go ahead and actually give you my proposal, if that's okay, and we'll combine those. I just want to check with the two of you.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead
Okay,
and do
great.
your thing?
All right, as we started in 2013, we all sat up here, the three of us sat up here with the other council members, and Purcern was out here, and this was the issue on the table. And so this isn't anything new. We're going on 2 years basically from that date. We did give them 18 months to have their grading and building permits issued in order for us to go ahead and waive their fees. I think we should stay consistent with that. I want to stay with the 18 months, and this is what I propose. That number one, in order to go into the phase-in option, your planning application has to have been submitted. Planning Commission and Council must approve it by the end of 2015. Then if you are able to have your grading and building permits issued by June 2017, your fee will be lowered by 50%. If it's issued by the end of 2017, it'll be lowered by 25%. And if you aren't able to do it until January 1st, it will be full fee. That's my proposal. No, 17.
17, I think 17.
It would be, actually, it would be January 2018, the final one, which would be full fee.
All right, thank you. Any other comments here?
Can I hear those numbers one more time? I'm sorry.
No worries. I, again, was trying to go over go with the 18 months that we did with Purcern. So the first one was, and just giving, again, your planning application has to have been submitted already.
By
Also,
today.
Your planning commission and council must approve it by the end of 2015. Then if you have that done, if you're able to have your grading and building permits issued by June 2017, your fee will be lowered by 50%. And if
2017 or 16?
17. 17.
17, I think it is.
So that's the
It's
18 months.
18 months.
18
It's 18 months then from basically today. So that's your first one. We'd go ahead and give you 18 months, and if you're able to have your grading and building permits issued but within 18 months, we'll go ahead and lower it by 50%. If you then extend it to the end of 2017, December 31st, it would be lowered by 25%. And then if you aren't able to get those permits issued until January 1st, 2018, it would be full fee.
Okay. I think we got it. So basically, if it's, the permits are in hand by 6/17, it's a 50% reduction, according to your 12/17, it's a 25% reduction, and after that date, it's 100% of the fee.
Correct.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, I got a comment, Mayor.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, so, but just to make sure I understand, Mayor Pro Tem Davies, this only applies to projects where that's already submitted. So if they haven't submitted by today, so basically what we're doing is we're talking about one project, right?
There's actually two.
Right.
I'm sorry?
Another project's been submitted, subject to the park fee. It's a residential project called Sun Point. They're
So
in-
there's a second project that's been submitted?
Yeah, they're called, it's called Sun Point. It's a residential project that was submitted back in 2014. It's under process. It's on
Jeff,
the
where
old-
is that?
It's up the end of Caballo, up above Mercedes-Benz. It's the vacant.
Overlooking
subject-
Mercedes-Benz.
Overlooking Mercedes-Benz on the hill. It's been graded and
Uncompleted project?
uncompleted for years and years. They've been in process. They're subject to it. However, they anticipate in that project they'll be dedicating a large trail area, and then they'll be providing some private area that will probably meet the requirements of the code and won't be subject to the fee at this point.
That's the former ghost tract area, we've called it, and the
I
density is
know
not
the
nearly the
area.
density of the.
I know what it
Okay.
is.
Did they pay their park in lieu previously when they were approved? Have they already paid that or met the requirement?
So the land was subdivided originally in 1965, which was prior to the Quimby Act.
park and lieu fees are paid at the end, correct?
Prior to issuance of building permits.
Yeah, okay,
This is
so-
a single-family project, very low density, so we're not anticipating they'll be paying a fee, rather than they'll be dedicating some land for trails.
So grading and building permits are different than getting approval by the planning commission, correct? Okay, because there's a couple of things outstanding here. Just want to make a comment. One of the speakers talked about, this cost being passed on to the renters or the housing people. I just want to make sure they understand that, open space and parks and having some sort of recreation is also kind of key too. It's not just economics. You need public health to be considered for every housing project, in my opinion. And again, we're talking about a fee in lieu of a park, and the city has a very broad scale of what we call a park. I mean, a gym could be a park as well. So I just wanted to respond to some of the comments that were made. But there was a lot of information passed, I'm sure the other council members received from BIA and some of these other interested parties. Some of the accusations is that the city is not acting in good faith, or not necessarily good faith, but dragging their feet to some degree on some of these projects as well, in terms of, getting the process done. And it's really important that if we start putting these type of deadlines on there, that the city staff does a top-notch job with any of these projects that have been submitted by today, and that we help them get under the wire for these fee increases. And I think that that's important, to be a good partner with the business community, and that's really important. And I think that the business community does have a legitimate opportunity to come back to council if we do impose these deadlines, to keep us posted outside of going through the normal planning department, and say, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. I need to get things done. Can the city council help us? And that's really important. Again, there was one thing from, Chris Townsend, he kind of laid out a pretty good program. We heard the applicant say the same thing. So I just have one last question, and then I'll turn it over to the other guys. So as I understand it, if they are before June 2017 and getting their grading and building permits, is there no park and lieu fee imposed, or it's 50% between now and then?
Correct.
And that's when it starts to go down to 25% and then full fee? Okay.
That's what I'm proposing.
Very good. I understand. Thank you.
Okay, I don't understand that. Is it no fee, or is it 50% if they're done by?
Right now, it'll be 50%.
It'll be a 50% reduction if it's by 6/17, a 25% reduction if it's by 12/17, and then if it's after that date, it's 100% of the fee. And we're not voting on the fee tonight, but.
I know, we're giving staff direction on that.
Right.
A question, though, for Mayor Pro Tem. You talked about the, how it was resolved with the Pacerne Group. Is this the same type of resolution that was with the Pacerne Group?
Now, with a person, if I may. Go ahead. And also, I'm city attorney, you can always follow up on this. But I do believe at that point, this issue had come up. It hadn't been 2 years sitting on the table. And so when it did come up, we gave them 18 months to go ahead, and there was no fee for them. Because to me, this has been sitting on the table for some time, and they were open to a phase-in. I'd rather just go ahead and break it down and give them the opportunity to break this in half. So it really wouldn't be a 2015 fee. It would be, back down into half that time.
Okay, I'd like to make my own comment. As you know, by the way, I was not at the Pacerne meeting. I had a conflict of interest, so I wasn't there. The point I'm trying to make is I think it's a question of equity, that the city had not adjusted the fees over many years, and we're having a real tremendous increase up to market value, and it's significant. And I've been accused of being a greedy developer in my lifetime, and I guess once I'm a greedy developer, I always am, according to the public. But the point I'm trying to make is that I used to do financing for these type of developments, and the fees and permits are an essential part of the analysis and the cash flow and the return on investment. And I think that the fact that we raised the fees, or we're contemplating raising the fees to full value in such an abrupt manner, I think was really not fair in that sense. The city had, and I don't want to use the word derelict, but I think the city didn't do its job keeping these fees current and, raising them incrementally. So I personally am in favor of what you've proposed. I think it's very fair, and it helps the people that have done their pro formas based on our old numbers. Now, there are some things that I have to do here. We're talking about a direction to the city staff, but one of the things we have to do is, don't we have to introduce and read the title of this proposed ordinance?
Yes, Mayor McCluskey, that's absolutely correct.
Okay.
I believe that's part of the Mayor Pro Tem's moving the staff recommendation that would cover.
So you're
items.
moving the whole
it needs to be
recommendation?
read.
For the ordinance.
Okay, I didn't understand that you had the whole.
Just for the ordinance.
Okay, so you're recommending the items A, B, and C, and D is direct the proposed ordinance with any changes be placed on the agenda for the May 5th, 2015 City Council meeting, and adopt the ordinance at that meeting. So there's two things going on here. One is adopting the ordinance, and the other is a direction to staff. So,
And we go to the park and lieu fee option.
yeah.
Can I suggest a motion?
Sure.
Let me do that, just to make it clear for everyone. First, introduce the ordinance and read the title, and I'll read the title. Ordinance number 2015XXX, ordinance of the City Council of the City of Laguna Niguel, California, amending the procedure for establishing representative land values under the local park code for payment of park in lieu fees. Item B, waive reading of the full text of the proposed ordinance. Item C, consider the proposed ordinance and make any desired changes. I think you've done that, and there are no desired changes. D, direct that the proposed ordinance be placed on the agenda for the May 5, 2015 City Council meeting and adopt the ordinance at that meeting. And then I'll add E, which is when the issue of actually adopting the increase in fee comes before the council, to build into that resolution the exemptions, I'll call them exceptions and conditions, that the council has discussed tonight that were proposed by Mayor Pro Tem Davies.
I'll make a motion to move.
Wait. I still have some, so we're still going to discuss the resolution or the tonight?
Well, what we're doing is we're recommending the adoption of the
Of the
start
ordinance.
of the ordinance, and Mayor Pro Tem Davies' proposal for the fee, incrementally fee increases.
Okay, and I'd like to speak to the fee phase-in.
Okay.
Now? Okay. Well, I'm an advocate of our parks, and I really am a proponent of the park and lieu fees. But then when I look at it another way and I think, what is right and what is the right thing to do? And by raising the fees so abruptly, is that the right way to treat our business community? Is that something that we can look ourselves in the mirror and say that we did this? So I'm for phasing in the fee, but I'm wondering if those applicants that are in process, that there needs to be a different phase-in, as Mayor Pro Tem had mentioned, but I don't know that a 50% phase-in right off the bat is appropriate. I would like to see a little slower ramp-up, but still have the benchmarks that they need to meet.
Yeah.
And again, I'd second in that, so we're on discussion. Your point's well taken. However, in November of 2013, these things were discussed in a city council meeting with the development community and, you know, the landowners, et cetera. So this isn't a surprise. This is something that happened, you know, whatever that would be, 15, 16 months ago. So I don't think that have to look at ourselves in the eye and say, you know, gosh, we're coming up with this stuff in 2015. This stuff was out there. All the developers knew that this Park and Lou fee was coming, and it probably took way too long. But this wasn't public just in the last, you know, this year, so with this sitting council. The previous council had extensive discussions on this. One other question on the Pasern Group. I thought that they had already been passed by planning when we had this as well. Is that not the case? Community Development Director Gibson?
I think, I do believe Pasern was still in the planning process.
They were in the process, not
They had-
approved.
they had
Okay,
not been
all right.
approved, that's
I'm just trying to
correct.
recollect. Anyways, okay, I just wanted to answer that.
Any other further comments?
I have a question for staff, because I was at that city council meeting when the Park and Lou fees were brought up. What communication has been done with the developers between then and our last meeting about the amount that the fees were going to be raised? Has there been communication with them?
Well, I think it's always been clear that the council wanted to bring it up to current value. So I think the communication was there. Once we knew we were bringing it back to the council, which we did in March, it was for the council to provide direction to us to actually bring the item today. That is the normal amount of time that's normally met. We meet with the BIA, we've met with the BIA. So honestly, it's up to the council if you think it's a normal amount of communication or not. I can tell you based upon my history, I think that we've met in good faith with the BIA, and they've also had opportunity to meet with each and every one of you individually, and they've done that. So I think they're on the record. I think that the proposal that has been brought forward shows that we are attempting to phase in a fee. And honestly, between now and when the council would consider that in June 16, I expect the communication to continue forward. I'm sure you'll hear from quite few or quite many of the developers as far as the proposal that's before you. But shortly, I think we've done our due diligence, and I think we've done it in the right way.
Well, in my opinion, I was not attending that city council meeting that it's been referred to, number one. Number two, I do advocate public-private partnership. We, as a municipal corporation, we ought to be working with the development communities, but at the same time, you know, we want to be fair and equitable when it comes down to the allocation of any potential fees or any kind of increases. We want to make sure that it's fair for the city as a whole, and also it is fair for the developer. At the end, I recognize that the developer has to make money, otherwise they have no incentive. But to me, it's a bit sharp. It goes back to what Councilwoman Genoway mentioned. It's a bit sharp because if I'm a developer, I'm going to be surprised. So the issue for me to be able to digest would be, are we looking for exception or are we looking for exemption? When it comes down to those two projects that Jeff referred to. So we want to be fair to them, but at the same time, we want to be fair to our citizens, to our community, that at the end, the decision that we are going to be rendering would be, you know, would be the best possible decision. So I presume that at this juncture, we are not voting on anything specific because this is, since it's an ordinance, we need 2 readings on that, and I presume that we got 2 more to go. Yes, Mr. Attorney? 1 more. This is construed as the first.
Yes, you have one more after this to adopt the ordinance, but then the actual adoption of the fee and the determination of things like phasing wouldn't be until 30 days after the second reading.
Well, your points are well taken, but at this juncture, I'm talking about the specific wording of the ordinance, which would be critical, because when it comes down to the second reading, we are going to be voting on that, correct?
Yes, the phasing wouldn't go in the ordinance, it would go in the implementing resolution.
Oh.
So the language wouldn't change.
Okay. Thank you for your clarification. Thank you.
I just want to address the council, and this is something, you know, I'd love to hear your proposal that you could bring forth. Anyone that has any suggestions, it'd be great. it was important to me that we're fair here. And, you know, wanted to make sure, because one of the first words that came in, phase in. You guys were open to phasing in. And so this was just my option. I think, again, our job up here is to do what's best for the entire community. And so in regards to exemption, you know, I didn't feel that was completely right, but I wanted to make sure that it was fair for everybody, whether you're a builder or you're just a resident here. And so I look forward to hearing the other proposals if they come up. And, you know, and I thank you for your time.
All right, any other comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second, and it was outlined by Attorney Dixon. A, B, C, D, and E, which is to direct the staff on a phase-in proposal that Mayor Pro Tem had proposed. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Okay, now we're going to have council comments, council reports. Ms. Genoway.
Okay, first I'll give the report for the Military Support Committee. We had our meeting yesterday here, and Laguna Niguel should be happy to know that our ship, the USS Stockdale, finished its in-service inspection, and it got flying colors. It passed class above the other destroyers, so very good. We're proud of the crew of the Stockdale. The care package drive, this is for the items that we send to our Marines and sailors when they're deployed, will be taking place May 2nd at both Laguna Niguel Albertsons. So be on the lookout for that. May 2nd is the care package drive. And then the big fundraiser for the year for the Military Support Committee is the Fairways to Freedom Golf Tournament on May 11th. And you can go to fairwaystofreedom.org to find out more information. So as far as council comments, I just want the Laguna Niguel residents to be aware that in the consent calendar, we approved $3,750 for the Aliso Niguel High School grad night. And all three of my children attended Aliso Niguel, and they all went to grad night. And it takes a lot of work on the part of the parents to put a grad night together, and our whole community is appreciative of that, because the point of it is to have a safe and sober grad night so that you come home safely the next morning. So thanks for the parents who have put those together for years and years. And youth committee applications are out. We are looking for more members of the youth committee. Quite a few of our members will be graduating this June, so we do need some more members. And I recommend that all of our youth, and please parents, tell your teenagers to go to the city website and get an application. We're looking forward to having some new members. Also, the Laguna Niguel Citizen of the Year Committee is taking nominations right now, and that ends the last day in April. So a Citizen of the Year is someone whose volunteer work has made Laguna Niguel a better place for all of us to live and work. So we hope that the entire community participates, and if you know someone who meets that standard, please be sure to nominate them. And again, you can get the applications on the city website or here at City Hall. And sometimes people say, oh, I didn't know that was coming up at a meeting. Please go to the city website. There's a Notify Me button. Click it. Then you can get the agendas and any information or any notifications you want. You indicate what you'd like to be notified about, and it'll be sent to you automatically. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Minigar?
I don't have any specific comments.
Mr. Slushwitz?
Thank you, Mayor McCloskey. Just a quick item that's coming up in the Vector Control Board again. The Orange County. Orange County was the #1 county in the nation, unfortunately, for vector-borne diseases, West Nile virus. More people, 10% of all deaths in the United States happen in Orange County. It was cumulative of what we had when our first West Nile virus happened in 2004 through 2013. More deaths last year, more neuroinvasive diseases, which again can be debilitating. We have to learn how to walk, eat, talk all over again. So the Orange County Vector Control Board did vote, I think it was like 31-3, to raise the housing fee by $1, which is less than a can of Raid, but it is a fee increase. I was able to push through, looking at the budget, having gone to the budget meeting and being very active on that, that 50 cents of that dollar increase was to build reserves. Hopefully, we don't have that kind of problem this year, and that it would be a 50-cent raise, or it would be a dollar raise for 1 year, and that 50 cents would go right back after the first year. There's going to be some structural enhancements to the vector control board that I couldn't see where, that 50-cent raise is going to be more permanent. So it's just coming. Everyone who owns a house, you're going to pay $1 more towards in your property taxes towards vector. That did pass, and that'll be next year's payroll taxes. Other than that, I'm done. Thank you very much, Mayor.
I was just going to give him 50 cents.
Well, I didn't want to make it too big.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. I attended the league meeting in Ontario along with the mayor, who's on the environmental committee. I'm on the transportation, public works, and communication. I can't say I have happy news. Senator Bale out there has a bill that he's trying to propose in regards to transportation funding, and I recommend that you check into it. What this would propose is you'd have a $35 additional fee on your DMV. You would have 10 cents additional gas tax. If you have an electric car, they call it a $100 fee. I call it a fine. And this would be over a 5-year period. And then my other concern is they would like to get the VMT coming in, which would be a monitor that would go on your car. And that's probably about how long it would take. So this monitor would go on the car and would monitor how many miles you drive, and then you would be taxed on that. And obviously, that would definitely affect the city because we are a bedroom community. Most of us drive outside the city. So right now, what I recommend is to contact Assembly Bill Breaux as well as Senator Pat Bates. I'll let them know your concerns with this transportation fund. They've got a lot of votes up there, so I don't know how well we're going to do, but I can tell you that myself as well as Councilmember Ross Chun, who's on the committee from Lisa Vejo, both opposed it. I believe we were the only two that opposed it, but we did oppose it in regards to the city. Also, I was with the Park Ad Hoc Committee with Councilmember Schlusowitz, and we're doing great. We're very excited. I know we're all very excited in regards to our Phase 1, which will be opening up in June in regards to the amphitheater. I also attended Earth Day and got to move Lettermosh with the mayor. So we really had an opportunity to see the progress that we have up there. And I never was at really the top there. You really get an incredible view up there of the city and the trees. And so when you have the opportunity, please do. But I'm really excited because this is a place that we can really see our tax dollars go to work. And this is a place that every generation, every age is going to be able to enjoy. So looking forward to that. And I did a ribbon cutting for Laguna Niguel Pilates Club, and that's in Town Center. So if you get a chance, check it out. I think they're even giving Laguna Niguel a free lesson. So stop on over there. Thank you.
Thank you. My report is I attended the 25th anniversary of George White Elementary School, and it was a wonderful event. There were actually a few teachers who had been there the full 25 years, and it was full of energy. If you saw all those kids with the energy, I mean, if we could do that, we wouldn't have an energy crisis in this country, I'll tell you. They were great. So that was a great event. As I said, as it was mentioned, I was at Earth Day helping pitch. It wasn't manure. It was, we do that here. I take that back. That was not right. Anyway, we were putting mulch around, planting plants, and it's a fun event. It's a fun event every year. I'm on the Budget and Finance Committee and the Executive Committee of the Orange County Fire Authority. I'm the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee. We have some great concern about an Assembly Bill 1217 that's been attempting to impose upon the Fire Authority a reduction in their Board of Directors, which would essentially negate any influence Laguna Niguel has on the Fire Authority. We would lose our representation, especially hits the 5th District very hard. The city has come out in opposition to this, and Councilwoman Genoway and Mayor Pro Tem Lori and Rod Foster and myself went to the Board of Supervisors to let them know that we were in opposition to this proposed bill. And other than that, I think that's about it. I didn't know if you guys knew that the trailer that the military support has all their supplies does not have to be moved. So we get to put all our stuff back. Okay, with that, we're going to move on to the staff, and we're going to run down the line just like we used to do. Chief, you have anything to say?
Yes, Mayor, this time I do. As the council is aware, on April 9th, we had Laguna Niguel Police Services all-hands meeting, which is quite a task to put together when you have a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week operation to get all your staff together. And I think by the council's actions, you've shown extreme support for public safety, not only law enforcement, but fire authority, and your concerns for the citizens of Laguna Niguel. So the actions are there, but it's probably not often that you get praised publicly, which is what I wanted to do for each of you. Your presence at our all-hands meeting was extremely appreciated, not only by me, but by Sheriff's Command and by all of my staff who were there. It was a great opportunity. The fact that you were each at individual tables and spoke with my staff and reached out to them was more than noticed. I've received numerous comments from my staff and how much they appreciated your presence. And I want to make sure I made that public, that we appreciate your support for public safety, and I think the citizens of this city are very fortunate to have you here and have your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Barr. Stephen, Finance.
I do have something to say tonight. Please bear with me. Last week, I was out of the office for most of the time dealing with a personal issue. Besides my parents and my in-laws who have been wonderful, I had a tremendous amount of support, primarily from City Manager Foster, Adi Eskandari, and Chief Matthew Barr. And without them, I probably wouldn't have been as successful as I was in dealing with this issue, again, above and beyond my family. Also my staff. You know when you have a great staff when you're out of the office and they're able to deliver a product like the draft working budget that you received on Friday without me being here. They stepped up to the plate. I was stressed out dealing with personnel issues, and they knocked it out of the park. I am so proud of them. You know, I can't even talk about it. There are no words to express how I feel. That is due to you as well as City Manager Foster. You have provided me with the resources necessary to make sure that in my absence, the work still gets done. And I compliment you and City Manager Foster for allowing that to occur. And those are my comments for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. City Attorney Dixon, do you have anything? Okay. Jeff?
Nothing to add this evening, thank you.
Eileen?
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Allison?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
I thought you said you're going to have
I
something.
didn't come up with anything, sorry.
Oh. Dan?
I'd just
Assistant
like
City
to
Manager?
reiterate what Mayor Pro Tem Davies mentioned earlier, that we will be having another community workshop on the Agora proposal. It will be Monday evening, May 4th at 7 o'clock here in our community room. So we will be starting to post that information and kind of get the word out. But it'll be a great opportunity for those that want to come and see and get the latest information on that creative vision for what a downtown Laguna Niguel can be. And again, that's going to be Monday, May 4th, 7 p.m. here in the community center.
Good, that's good information.
I have a question for you. Is the same presentation as the one for Chamber of Commerce?
I suspect it'll be very similar. It may have a few tweaks depending on the audience, but it will be a similar presentation and any latest refinements that was made to the Chamber of Commerce a couple weeks ago.
Thank you. Hattie?
Nothing to report.
Oh, okay. All right, Mr. Rod Foster, City Manager, cleanup.
Cleanup, just one item. It'll also be an ad in the newspaper, but just to remind the council and the community, we welcome them to our budget workshop, which will be next Tuesday, April the 28th. It'll begin in this council chamber at 1:30, where we'll present the budget document that Steve and his staff was capable of presenting. It's a wonderful, wonderful budget document, and it continues forward with our conservative way of viewing not only our revenues but our expenditures. So I think the council hopefully will be quite happy with the work that they were able to accomplish this past week. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Hearing no further business, I'm going to adjourn the meeting.